This question comes from N. Murdoch, who got to thinking about the story of the three wise men in the Nativity. According to the tale, they followed a star all the way to Bethlehem to find the baby Jesus. But what would actually happen if you decided to walk toward a known star in the night sky, at a fixed speed, following it faithfully? What kind of path would you trace across the surface of the Earth? Let's take Sirius, the brightest star in the sky besides the sun. Suppose the wise men left Jerusalem on December 25th, 1st AD, and began walking straight toward Sirius, day and night, even when it had dipped below the horizon. If they kept that up, they'd trace a slow, elegant spiral across the Earth's surface. The size of the spiral depends on how far someone can walk in half a day. And if we allow a bit of theological flexibility and assume the wise men could walk on water, their path would eventually settle into a repeating loop, a slow, eternal circle, 30 kilometers wide around the South Pole. Not exactly Bethlehem, but let's be slightly more realistic. Suppose the wise men only walked toward Sirius when it was visible in the sky. After sunset, when the star had risen, and the sky was dark enough to see it. We'll still let them walk on water, because that makes the path a lot more interesting. Under those assumptions, something lovely happens. The wise men's route actually takes them through Bethlehem. Whether they stop there is up to them, of course. If not, and they keep on walking night after night, eventually their path spirals down into Botswana, where they begin to loop endlessly. These trajectories are based on real astronomical data, including historical star positions from tools like Pi.FM, which helps model celestial coordinates throughout time. It turns out that tracing the real path of a star in the sky and translating that to walking directions on Earth is more complicated than you might expect. As for what the wise men were actually following, that's still an open question. There are very few strong astronomical candidates for the Star of Bethlehem. There's no record of a supernova around the right time in Chinese historical sources. None of the comets or planetary alignments really check all the boxes either. And beyond astronomy, there's plenty of historical and theological debate about when Jesus was born. The date of December 25th, 1st AD is a convenient marker, but it's not likely to be historically accurate. Different starting dates would change the paths a little, but not drastically. Now let's suppose the wise men were following not a star, but a planet. That gets more complicated. Planets don't stay fixed in the sky. They wander against the backdrop of stars, which is why ancient astronomers called them wanderers. So following a planet would mean a constantly shifting direction, producing a far more tangled and erratic path on the Earth's surface. Here's where they would have gone if they followed Venus, and here's their journey if they followed Mars. At one point, they appear to climb Mount Everest, perhaps assuming that if Jesus were descending from heaven, he might stop at the first solid surface he reached. Now let's give the wise men a hovercar, because why not? Suppose they had a silent, smooth, high-speed hovercar that could skim across both land and sea, something that maybe got cut from the Gnostic Gospels during editing. They follow Venus again, this time at highway speed. The path becomes especially strange. At one point, they end up spiraling near the North Pole in October, where both the Sun and Venus hover near the horizon for weeks. The two orbs rise and set, tugging the wise men in slow circles. The result is a bizarre month-long loop, a kind of chaotic polar pilgrimage, or as you might call it, a strange Magi attractor. And that, oddly enough, provides a surprisingly poetic foundation for the story of Santa Claus. Not what you expected from astronomy, is it? But realistically, the wise men probably weren't following Venus. It's one of the most prominent and well-known lights in the sky. As the late Sir Patrick Moore once remarked, if the Magi mistook it for a new star, they probably weren't very wise. Still, maybe they were wiser than Sir Patrick gave them credit for. After all, if you were to walk outside tonight, point toward a bright star near the horizon, and predict that somewhere in that direction, a baby is about to be born. Statistically, You'd almost certainly be right.